Hello and welcome back to Culinary Haven. Tomorrow, the 6th of June, is my husband's big birthday. Unfortunately, because of the current situation, we had to cancel all the grand plans. We can't even see the family. So I asked him if there's anything I could prepare to make you feel a little bit better. To which he said, well, since it's just the two of us, I would love you to make my childhood favorite cake, Victoria sponge. Sounds good to me. Classic British dessert. Very summery, very delicious, and very easy to make. Victoria sponge, Culinary Haven style. Let's begin. I call it a Culinary Haven style Victoria sponge because I add a couple of unconventional ingredients to the traditional recipe. To make our cake, we'll need, for the sponge, 150 grams of sugar, 150 grams of unsalted butter at room temperature, 3 eggs, 3 tablespoons of kefir, 150 grams of self-raising flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a pinch of salt, and a teaspoon of vanilla. And for the cream filling, we will need 125 grams of unsalted butter at room temperature, 80 grams of white chocolate, 80 ml of double cream, 180 grams of icing sugar, and a half a teaspoon of vanilla. And for the jam filling, some homemade raspberry jam. And we'll also need 2 18 centimeters in diameter 7-inch cake tins lined with baking parchment. If you don't have 2 of the same size baking tin, just make one and slice it in half. And I'm going to prepare the batter with an electric whisk, and you can also do it manually. And of course, we'll need some fresh summer fruit for decoration. And we'll start with preparing the batter. First, in a large bowl, we'll cream together the sugar and the butter until it's nice and fluffy, and preheat your oven to 180 degrees now because it won't take long. This is it, nice and fluffy. Next, we'll crack the eggs into a small bowl. Add the kefir, 3 tablespoons. I add the kefir because I find that adding kefir instead of milk, for example, makes the sponge fluffier and lighter. And actually the vanilla will be added now as well. 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. And just lightly whisk it together. I think it's the acidity in kefir that makes the leavening agents work and make the sponge fluffier and lighter. That's it. And now we're going to add that into the mixture of sugar and butter. Just whisk it in gradually. Scrape the bowl and just one more time. This is it. And now the dry ingredients. We're going to sift in the flour, 150 grams of self-raising flour, 1 level teaspoon of baking powder, and a pinch of salt, a small pinch. Sift it in. Self-raising flour actually comes already pre-sifted, so if you don't use any baking powder, you don't need to sift it. I'm just doing this because I want to thoroughly combine the flour and the baking powder. With the spatula, just fold it in gently and mix it just until combined. You don't want to overwork the batter. You don't want the sponge to be tough. That's it. Now we'll divide the batter between the 2 baking tins. And just even it out with the offset spatula. Just spread it gently like this. Just very gently. The oven is ready now. Like I said, we're going to bake it in the preheated to 180 degrees Celsius oven for about 20 to 25 minutes, maybe 22, depends on your oven, until it's nicely golden brown. And now we'll prepare the cream filling. Double cream, 80 ml. Bring it to almost a boil into a small bowl for the chocolate and the cream. Stir it and just let it sit for a couple of minutes until the chocolate melts. It only takes a couple of minutes. White chocolate melts really quickly. And we'll add half a teaspoon of vanilla to the chocolate and cream mixture. That's it, perfect. All melted. Now into a medium-sized bowl, we'll put the butter, soft room temperature butter, sifted icing sugar, carefully, and just stir it with a spatula, just so that butter moistens the icing sugar and it's not flying all over the place. Still is. And we'll add the melted white chocolate with vanilla. Mix it together so that there is no dry icing sugar, and then we'll whisk it again with either electric whisk or manual. We'll blend it together until our white chocolate buttercream is nice and fluffy. It's already delicious, but just a couple of minutes and it will be ready. Nice, light and fluffy. Our sponge is ready, and it took 24 minutes in my oven, and I rotated the tray halfway. You see, perfectly golden brown. And now we'll just leave it on the wire rack until it cools completely, and then we'll build our Victoria sponge sandwich. Here we are. The sponges are cool now. It took about 40 minutes, an hour. They will be completely cold, ready to assemble. Take a stand or a platter, put it upside down in the middle. I put the cream in the fridge. It's very warm here in the kitchen, so just about 20 minutes or so. It didn't firm up or anything, just nice and not runny. So the first layer is our homemade raspberry jam. Nothing like it. Spread it. If you don't have a homemade raspberry jam, then shortbread will do. And the next layer is our white chocolate buttercream. Instead of just trying to spread it on top of the jam and making a mess, we will take the second half, turn it upside down again, and spread the cream all over it. And leave the second half of the cream to put on top so we can adorn it with beautiful berries. Put it on top, press it gently. There you go. Before I continue, I want to say that if you would rather have it the traditional way, without the cream on the top as well, you can have half of the cream filling and just dust the top with icing sugar, which is traditional way of doing it. But that's my husband's request, to have the double cream layer, and that's how we're making it today. And finally, just some raspberries and blueberries on top, and these gorgeous strawberries around it. Final touch, a little bit of very light dusting with icing sugar on top, and that's that. Here we are. On behalf of all the family and friends who can't be with you on this special day, happy birthday, Alan. Thank you for watching this episode of Culinary Haven, and until next time, bye.